Hello YouTube, welcome back to the Drifter Saloon. Ven Corbin here with another tier review. This time we'll be doing the featured superstars for the MLC. Starting off with Rhea Ripley and then going into Relentless Kevin Owens. I want to be very forward. We're going to jump straight into it because this is going to be a longer video. Everybody got involved. I super appreciate that. So we have every content creator / everybody who wanted to volunteer being a part of this. Of course, as usual, don't send hate their way. And please support them. Click the links down below. Follow them on their platforms, Twitch, YouTube, all that fun stuff. Hell, even check them out on Twitter. That being said, we're going to jump into it, and I'm going to be doing things a little bit differently. As you can see with the overlay, we kind of have things shifted around or moved a little bit. As the person is being reviewed or giving their review, I'll be using their logo on the overlay. So you'll see who that is at that time. So if you see me messing with my software, it's because I'm showing who the person is at that time that's speaking. And I'll try to do it where if I add my own commentary in during someone's review, I actually click off of their logo. So it'll be like a blank slate. And then of course I have my logo at the end where I'll give my review. So jumping into this, we're going to start with Rhea Ripley. She is a modern era striker. This is my brutality. Her training ability is Blast Gems do a static amount of more damage from 600 to 1100 to 2200. And overall, she is the free card of the MLC. So if you're playing this month, you should have already gotten her for free at 2-star bronze, or you could have been like me, paid the 20 and got the upgrade. Of course, we're going to jump into with 2Bob first. So I'm going to go all the way over here. There's a lot to go through. So 2Bob says, Rhea is super solid and can certainly be explosive with the Queen's Tiara plate. That's going to be a very common reoccurring theme here. My only issue, per se, is none of it seems to be the most consistent of gameplay. It's typically based upon whether a random generate or however many gems of blank color are already on the board. Solid for feud, not the greatest for showdown, but a very good modern striker female for those who don't already have one they can take pride in. That being said, we also had Striker Sasha recently, a couple months ago. So 2Bob's on a pretty good point there. Up next is B-Rock Gaming, and B-Rock Junior Gaming. B-Rock says, at first I was extremely high on Rhea. I was putting her just under Bianca and Steph. Then I realized the buffs she is getting this month. The extra black gem generation and extra 50% damage make her more powerful than she really is. I think Rhea is a good card and will be serviceable. Striker Rhea without the buffs is just under Striker Sasha for me, for a free striker champion. Sin Cara makes her better, however not everyone has access to that trainer. Looking at her with the Tiara plate, it's almost like she was made for that plate. Benny says, very cool design, extremely strong for a free character, straightforward, multiple builds, I really like her. Add the Tiara skill plate, and you're on board for a pretty nice ride. Big Papa Gaming says, very solid for a free card, has multiple builds that flow very well. I agree. Davey D comes in and says, she may not be as good after the monthly buff is gone. Short, sweet, and to the point. DJ Anon says, Rhea is a 9, but this is only assuming that at 5-star silver level. We don't know how she scales at gold, as we have not had opponents to go against at that level. I appreciate that sentiment. Godflow says, an above average free card who is getting rave reviews due to her monthly boosts. Coming out right behind the feud Queen Steph is her biggest flaw. Very true. But we also got the Tiara plate because of that. So Goldie only scored. She did not give a comment. Great J-Man says, another solid free-to-play striker. Her monthly bonuses are a bit nuts this month, so take advantage. That said, all movesets cycle well and fill the finisher or recycle for turn 2 easy enough. Nothing to hate here, but once the MLC is over, she'll drop down to a mid-tier striker that you'll forget about, unless you lack better options. The training ability is very meh. JBL Brock do the same thing, and I'd almost always use Rusev or JBL to make more power gems at higher levels. Powerhouse Brock is 35% instead of 2200 flat blast gem damage. Sorry, that's my speech impediment. She could help buff damage for a lower level blast character. Gerson says, not too sure how she's going to do once all her buffs are out, but still a decent free card. Iron Sheik says, Rhea, just like Powerhouse Dawkins last month, is okay. Rhea is a gem chucker with her MLC boosts. I've been able to beat normal and hard, and 11 of 16 in Hell Mode nodes with the common trainers. Butch King Nakamura, Santa Hogan at 3-star silver. After this MLC is over, I don't see Rhea being able to do that. Rhea does have versatility with the 4-star moveset, as well versus guaranteed damage versus RNG. But still nothing I'm doing backflips for, as a bad board can easily shut her offense down. Training ability isn't horrible, but not something amazing either. A lot of people are hitting on the training ability because with the free characters we've seen the pumps of gem damage for a lot of the free characters, but I want to throw out there that we're getting that pump still. We're getting the 2200 gem damage pump, but she just targets blast gems instead of like a flat color. So a lot of folks are doing the review, they're throwing it out there, they're mentioning the training ability. I don't think Rhea was meant to have an amazing training ability, but I digress. I also want to say that Sheikah's very much on point with the gems that she's checking out. When she doesn't have that plus gem generation, it's good. We're going to see a drop for sure. All right, on to the next person. Merrick says, okay trainer and a solid card. Very easy playstyle and smooth. So to most, she'll probably be a bit higher. And we'll see. We'll see, Merricks. You may be onto something. Retro says, again, a bit of a shiitake mushroom pick when it comes to others who deserve a card more. Yes, I know it's opposite to what I said about yet another KO card, but that guy deserves a good card. Rhea is onto her third card when Natty has one, Bailey has one, Liv Morgan has none. I'm saying this real quick. Ven's saying, I would love a Liv Morgan card. Retro, I agree. Liv Morgan has none. Onto the card, purple black looks fun. Once I get her higher, I can play again a bit more myself. Blast gem damage is an interesting one, and a little spoiler, could work for an idea that I'm having. Sub to Retro 1K. That said, I don't feel like we need another female striker so soon, and not as good as Steph, so that affects my scoring for this one. Well, I guess we'll just see what that scoring is, huh, Retro? Sapper pipes up saying, Rhea is another great... Oh, real quick before we go into Sapper's review. Thank you so much, Sapper. I know you just got out of surgery. It was awesome that you were able to take time during your recovery to get me these reviews. Please make sure that you're following Sapper or subbing to him. Super great guy. Rhea is another great free poster. Obviously, she will probably not be at the top of rosters for players who have been playing for a while, but for newer players, she's going to be great. She has 2 solid movesets that recycle, making her a versatile poster. I don't know why you put poster on that card, but she will lose some of her strength when the MLC ends, but she's still a great poster in my opinion. TSD is probably on par with 2Bob when it comes to reviews. They both give very long reviews, so I appreciate that. It's very thorough, very informative. So TSD breaks theirs down into 3 different categories. The first one being moveset. Movesets are good. However, there is a lot of hype for this card considering she has some solid boosts for the month. Right now, yes, she's doing very heavy damage against higher opponents, but I would argue she is above average once her boosts are gone. Her 5-star moveset, I look forward to testing when I get there. A lot of potential to doing somewhere close to 500k to 700k damage at 5-star bronze. Double purple and black non-finisher is likely how I would run her at 5-star bronze. The next thing it's broken into is coaching and training ability. Decent trainer ability, however, it is a trainer ability, and it makes it difficult to throw her in her as a trainer versus a MP trainer or even a flat gem damage trainer. Solid for someone like Sika, as his MP charges are low, but again, it's limited. And then the card pick. It's a good card pick, but this is our third Rhea. I would love to see Sonya Deville in this spot. Overall, great. Actually, that's true. Sonya doesn't have a card either. TSD. Overall, great card for new users, but for me, she's just above average. We'll need to see more out of her once the monthly boost is gone. Belair and even Striker Sasha are way ahead of her in terms of modern Striker. Zinker says, now turn 1s are very preferred for the purpose of playing faster both in Feud and Showdown. So that's the way he rated Rhea for this. And I think Rhea is a decent enough card. I have been using her here and there, mostly through her contests, but honestly, I have other strikers that I would prefer. I like Hall of Fame Wendy for throwing out black gems and stuff like that. And as far as the trainer ability goes, I don't think I use anybody that would need to utilize flat blast gem damage. Maybe Z-Brian, that no one brought up. Z-Brian might actually utilize this, but with Brian no longer being in the company, it might be harder for them to excuse having him be used in anything. So he's going to fall to the wayside. I can't think of a good blast gem person that would utilize her. Alright, so that being said, we are going to go back up here, and I'm going to click this button here. Boom! For Rhea Ripley, we have a 7.5, 6.5, 8.5, 8.5, 7.5, 9, 8, 9, 6.5, 7, 5.5, 7.5, 6, 8, 7.5, 8, and I gave her a 7, rounding out at an average of 7.5. It's crazy that it's actually like a flat number. No extra digits, 7.5 is what she is. The retro score of Rhea goes to Iron Sheik with a 5.5. And then everybody else kind of caps out at around 8.5. I don't think she hit it. Oh, she did hit 9. Goldie and DJ Anon both see some hidden potential there. So, very cool. 7.5 puts her roughly in the range of a tier 2 character. So, that is that. We're gonna... Boom. And now we're on to the relentless Kevin Owens. Very excited for this. Very, very excited for this. Sorry, on these, there's a little bit more setup that has to be done. When I have to do 2 of the featured characters at once. I don't know why some of my characters are showing as damaged. I haven't used them. But... Oh, by the way, if anybody wants to comment, all 3 of my Ballers finally went 5-star gold. If anybody has a mutant Baller they want to throw me, I'd appreciate it. He's the one I'm missing. Yes, I wanted to show that off. Do not judge me. We do more fun stuff like that on my stream if you want to stop by. Twitch.tv/VenCorbin. Yes, shameless self-plug while I'm pulling up. Okay. So, the Relentless KO is a modern-era powerhouse. He has the similar style of trainer ability as Dusty and... I forget who... Oh, Ford. Dusty and Ford. Where it's 10% increased chance for blue gems on the initial board. And then matching blue gems goes up by 1 and 2. As well as 50% at 17k. One sec. A lot of talking. Alright, so. That's the coach, or that's the trainer ability. Not too bad. I forgot to mention, I thought... No, they don't have anything. That's right. So, I'm going to go back over here and start off with 2Bob. Kevin Owens is a super solid card. One of the hardest hitting cards in the game, without needing a hot tag ranging up to potentially 20 million damage. My concern is that I don't need to hit maybe 20 million damage on turn 2 or 3. I need to hit 3 or 4 million on turn 1 every time. The issue with Kevin is that he has a ranging scale of damage almost as bad as Z-Taker. Z-Taker cannot hit remotely close to as hard as Kevin can, but the scale is about the same. There's a chance, and an unfortunately decent one at that, where the random traps you generate will land on no possible matches. The downside of doing 50k and not pinning someone is not acceptable in today's day and age of the game for me, personally. On top of that, he suffers from the Kofi syndrome. 8 months strong, we've had a chase character who requires yellow MP, and in this case, an extremely inconsistent one at that. The desire to chase this card is very limited, as his range of damage can completely work against you, and he requires the almighty yellow MP trainer, just as everyone else does these days. Unfortunate timing and very poor remarks from myself when I feel the free card is more of a pull than a chase card, and I'm not really impressed by either, but extremely let down by this new KO. Another good reason I love having 2Bob on here is that he always gives very analytical and honest reviews. That we're going to hear a lot of positive things about KO, and I think starting off with 2Bob giving us a critical review makes the difference. Alright. So hide that. And then B-Rock says, Powerhouse Owens is the 2022 Sika. Owens is the best powerhouse in the game. See, I already flipped the script. The damage amount ranging from 1.5 mil to 28 mil. Check out Goldie's video plug. Benny also did one as well. A lot of the content creators have definitely put out good videos on B-Rock on KO, by the way, not just what B-Rock said. Owens is very versatile, and majority of the builds hit really hard. Ton of damage comes from the trap gems and useful for offense and defensive. Most builds contain common trainers, which is awesome for free-to-play players. He plays like a cross between Walter and Memrock. The payoff of a 2-trap build with double MP is high risk, high reward. He's awesome. Downside, affiliation for Kofi is needed for feud weekends. The miss on the trap gems leave you vulnerable for early pins against other 5-star golds. Best free card in the game, and what B-Rock means by that is obtaining him through the MLC at like 3-star gold or whatever. Benny says, like I said on Twitter, mind-blowing, jaw-dropping, staggering, overwhelming, incredible, breathtaking. Bring on 6-star and 7-star posters. Best build double trap with super kick. Turn 1 between 4 and 9 million. Hit for 28 million turn 2. Go freaking watch my preview. This one is a must-have for the entire community. All caps, by the way. Must-have for the entire community. Back to lowercase. No doubt in my mind the best and champions at the moment. My grade is 11, just because he's in a different tier than others. I capped it at 10, but he said 11. But, for example, he's placing him up there with, in what I think, like, the god tier characters, Snoop, Macho, things like that. That's what Benny's kind of giving me the vibe of here. BPG says, he may be game-breaking, has the ability to do a shiitake mushroom ton of damage in turn 1, have achieved as high as 28 million. That 28 million is being commented on a lot. Davey D says, Jesus, referencing, I assume he's referencing the Botchamania Jesus quote. Love it. DJ Anon says, Owens is easily a 10. No one else is going to do that kind of damage outside of Macho King. Godflow says, the powerhouse we've been waiting for, an absolute stunner. I see what you did there, Godflow. Goldie did not leave a review. She only scored. Alright. Great J-Man. I think he saved his longer review for this one. So he says, the power creep in this game has gotten crazy. This is definitely my kind of character. I saw the trap moves and thought this is like Powerhouse Memrock. Beautiful. Heart face emoji, star-eyed emoji. Traps are his bread and butter. You can combo them with the right plate to recycle moves. Huge damage output with gem buff traps plus red gem creation traps. Then you can set them off multiple ways. Manual swipe, finisher, make a 1x7 random purples, pick or poison. Pros, low MP moves, huge damage ceiling, good for feud and showdown, excellent trainer ability for showdowns. Bonus points, he's Canadian, awesome intro song, Sapper won't like it, tongue out emoji, sunglasses emoji, and then there's like a little CA, I don't know what happened there. Cons, red gems from traps sometimes go into dead spots on the board, also sometimes it rains outside. Way it goes, we can't have everything right. I love this card, I want this card, I think he's the best powerhouse in the game right now today, hence the score. I guess you guys can probably guess what he scored at Powerhouse KO's. J-Man is hilarious. Like, I don't know what the slight is against Sapper, but Sapper, if you watch this, I'd love to know what the deal is. Gerson says, I mean, he hits for 10 mil if you're not lucky, so that hurts. Iron Sheik says, holy... We can't say that on here. I'm not gonna bleep that out. Holy bleep. I have been a fan of KO, aka Kevin Steen, for quite some time now, and they have finally paid him his proper dues with the Powerhouse version. Every preview I've seen of him does an ungodly amount of damage with common trainers, even with a bad starting board, and even more damage if you have the rare trainers and coaches. Owens is a revolutionary powerhouse in the game, and after discussing it with J-Man, we just read his review, I'm in agreement that he's probably, if not definitely, the best powerhouse in the game. This is not a month to skip out on the chase if you're able to. Ven Corbin piping in here. That's a big reason why we do these reviews, especially in the beginning of the month. We do them so a lot of people can show their scores in the reviews for the MLC characters and other chase characters, so to speak. A lot of people seem to be in agreement that KO would probably be a character that you'd want to chase this month. We're 1 week in, so by the time this gets posted, which should be on Saturday around noon, you should be able to know that the next following weeks, which I believe this is a 5-month MLC, try to get the next 4 weeks to chase Owens. Merrick says, fun factor is a 10 for me. LOL. Slot machine, swipe these gems and see what you get. Also, an interesting trainer. Thanks, Merrick. Retro says, looks like another good chase, and great that it's a good new Kevin Owens. So far, I do like the 3-star moveset from what DJ showed us. The stunner is that OP. The stunner is so OP that it kills streams. If you missed DJ's stream, you'd not know the joke. I will be pushing for this one, more looking into this indeed. I tried to find a clip because I was going to throw the clip up here of what happened, but if you get a chance to, definitely go and check it out. I almost forgot to switch it over. Sapper says, the redo Canadian version of Stone Cold Steve Austin, Kevin Owens. Very interesting card. Multiple ways of running this poster, making it very versatile. Some of the moveset combinations can hit for massive damage. If Canadians are watching, he's going to be about a 7. If Canadians are not watching, he'll be about a 9.5. With the American to Canadian exchange rate, that still puts him at about a 7. All kidding aside, he will be a great addition to everyone's roster, and good luck getting him. Thank you, Sapper. I wonder if Sapper only gave him a 9.5 because he didn't want to give him a 10 because he was Canadian. I wonder if that was the case. Alright, TSD is back. Also, if you folks are wondering, TSD didn't give me a ping of his logo, so I'll have to send him a message about that and see what we can do. If not, I'll see if maybe we can get him one made up. Moveset, I'm a bit torn. Seeing the potential with the damage from the trap moves is really wanting to go all out and bring him 5-star gold. My only issue is that he has a similar issue to Memrock, and Merrick's displayed it in his video, where the traps go off, but there's nothing to match on the board or creates lack of matches. I personally like the double yellow and the purple Argentine neckbreaker the most. Solid damage and recycles beautifully. The coaching/trainer ability, not the best. Again, this seems to be a bit of a more situational, where there's an issue with a lack of MP users in the game. He's about an average trainer. Card pick. Thank God we got a good Owens in the game. It hurt my poor Canadian heart having 3 shiitake mushrooms Owens. They got it right on this one. Overall, again, I think once I think once I get the card, I need to do some testing on my own on my preferred moveset. But again, it's a top tier KO, what not to love. Zinker says, KO does great damage, but does take time to charge up. Then here, I found out that I'm an indie mark, okay? I love Balor, I love Sami Zayn, I love Kevin Owens, and I mean, Prince Devitt, El Generico, Kevin Steen. I watched these guys before they were in WWE. I watched them now that they're in WWE. And to see a card come out for Kevin Owens that is this good makes me so happy. And I like things when they're more random. I enjoy the fact that it's not one-click swipe or one click and you win. Batista's great because he can do that much damage and then you're done and you move forward. But Kevin Owens gives you a little bit of I don't know, what do you call it when your brain says, I enjoy what I'm watching? It's the same thing. It's the same thing I get with Hall of Fame China. Those trap gems break, we see a bunch of red on the board, and it just honestly makes me overjoyed. I love seeing it. And Kevin Owens, he could do some damage, and I want to see more Faction Boss. Faction Boss was one of Ven Corbin's favorite events in the game. It brought you together with faction mates. 4 of you could get together, run a couple runs. It was fun, and I think Kevin Owens would be amazing for that. And he's not as rare as Macho King, so most people can actually do a lot of damage with their Kevin Owens to try to get to level 10 or whatever. All right, so you're going to see a little bit of Mr. McMahon on the side there. But so for Kevin Owens, we have a 7, 9, 10, 10, 10, 10, 9.5, 9, 10, 9.5, 10, 8.5, 8, 8.5, 8.5, 8, 9, and I gave him a 9. I don't know if I can actually slide this where it's maybe I can do, because I know some folks like to see the name or whatever, so maybe I do it like this. There you go. All right, so the retro score of the week for this specific character, Kevin Owens, is 2Bob's first ever retro score. Not where he tied with someone else, but where he gave the lowest score himself. 2Bob gave him a 7, and there are multiple people that gave Kevin Owens a 10. So it's undeniable. You know, this character's a 9.1, which also, Ford was also 9.1, which was our last MLC character. Yeah, he was also 9.1. So, interesting. The last two MLC characters that are chase characters have been easily a tier 1 character. That being said, I think we've covered everything on here. I'm gonna minimize this, go back to I think we've covered everything on here. I do appreciate everybody being a part of this. It was it took a lot to make sure that we got everybody on board, but I wanted to have everybody for this one so you folks could see the best scores that we could give and so on and so forth. If you have any comments, if this worked better, please let me know down below. Let me know if this was a better way to do it. If you don't like this way and you prefer me just to have all the logos up at once and just kind of read through like I did before, I can go back to that. I'd love to hear the criticisms because that's how I get better as a whole. Of course, I'm trying to grow the channel. Please take a second to subscribe. You can follow me also over on Twitch at VenCorbin as well. And please follow all the folks down below. I'll have all their links in the description. And that's about it. Have fun, do great at the end of this MLC. You know, try to chase those characters, and hopefully you have a good time doing the polls. I will have Jimmy. I think it's Tech Jimmy will be put out on Monday, and we'll go from there. But until then, be safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.